Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Hope you are great. So, I came across this video, and all I can say is that I absolutely concur because the ultimate white privilege is always going to be ignorance and nothing more than that. And from this video, it talked about their ignorance and how they get emotional when a good conversation about race comes up. I don't know why they do that, but they always deflate. That's why sometimes I feel like they are not emotionally ready for what dismantling the system that has been disturbing or that has been working against people that look like me and other people. Why? Because it is benefiting them. And another thing I have also found out is that white people are not ready to dismantle the system. They don't actually mind bleeding as long as it is affecting the people they do not like, especially people that look like me. That this one is like the fact about them. All right? Because tell me how presently today, Democrats Party decided to vote against their own people. It is privilege. Why is this privilege? It is privilege in the sense that these people are actually old. All of the people that voted are old, right? And because they are privileged, they did not bother. How would other people pay their bills, medical bills, and all that? Because if you are not privileged, you definitely will consider other people, put other people in mind. But you see these people, it is far away from them. Let's get into this video.
The ultimate white privilege is always going to be ignorance. As long as white people have the ability to disengage with a conversation and it's not that deep their way out of any conversation when they feel like they're being emotionally triggered or discomforted or feel cognitive dissonance any type of way, that's going to be the ultimate privilege. White people are always going to have the ability to move through this world without really engaging in tough conversations about the system that we lived in because the topic of white supremacy is so emotionally charged with them because of the concept of whiteness. As long as they feel connected to the concept of whiteness, any criticism about the concept is going to bring them discomfort. So immediately it's going to become emotionally charged for them and they're not going to want to engage in conversation. And that in itself is a privilege. But it's also the ultimate form of psychological subjugation because no one is more subjugated under white supremacy than white people. Right? Your concept of being white is going to always tie you to the system. So you're never going to be able to fathom a world in which you weren't white. So while people of color, especially black people and indigenous people, born a life that existed before white supremacy, you will never be able to do that because you don't remember what you were before you were white. Black people and indigenous people, on the other hand, are always thinking about a world in which their labor wasn't commodified, where they grew their own food, where shelter was free, where water was free. They could just go outside and hunt for animal products. Because of colonization and slavery, people of color are always going to have a homing beacon in history where life existed before white supremacy. For them, because they're still people of color. But because you identify with whiteness, that concept might not exist for you. The system is all you know. All you know is working for money. All you know is paying for water. All you know is paying for electricity. All you know is paying for land. When people of color have lived off the land for thousands of years. So there's always going to be this concept of a better life to people of color. That does not exist for white people. And that is the ultimate subjugation. You're the ultimate subjugated people under white supremacy. It is your psychology, your programming that keeps you in the life that we live. And that is why, even though the world that we lived in is so fucked up, white people fear changing it because they do not know a life outside of it. In their minds, this is as good as it gets. But people of color know that's not true. We remember a time where we built communities, where we grew food together, where we helped out our neighbor, where everything was essentially free, minus a little labor to get it and grow it. Not this fake system where we lived for money. Mind you, this system for most people of color has only existed for 400 years. There's always going to be a point in our mind where white supremacy did not exist. Because we are not white and we do not identify with whiteness. That is not something that a white person can say. So for a white person, the ultimate privilege is always going to be identification with white supremacy itself. As long as you have the privilege of being ignorant and able to not engage with the conversation because of your emotional discomfort, you're always going to find a way to make the best out of this situation. That is the ultimate privilege. While black people and people of color mourn a life that we could have lived, white people not came and subjugated us under their system, all white people think about is how to achieve and grow within inside the system of capitalism, within inside the system of patriarchy and white supremacy. All of your goals revolve around improving that system instead of dismantling it. We are not even looking at history and reality from the same standpoint, and that's because you identify as white. The system is literally embedded inside of your identity. That is the ultimate privilege. It's ignorance of not being able to contextualize the idea from with outside of yourself. That is a privilege. But also the ultimate subjugation.
Hey, white people, let's acknowledge our white privilege right now. Right now, we have the ultimate white privilege in this country in that we can leave our house, we can go to the store, we can go to the hospital, we can call the police if we are in danger or need help, and we don't have to worry about being detained. And I'm not saying that we will always have that. I think that eventually there will be some things put in place that certain white people, based on who knows what, will start to be detained. But I was sitting with a bunch of my students yesterday, and they were talking about how scared they are just to be driving down the street with their parents. And some of them have parents who have no reason to be legitimately scared because they are documented and have papers, and some of them have parents who do not and are legit scared because of what could happen. And it's not about that. It's about the fact that I get to walk around and feel relatively safe. And I acknowledge that, I appreciate it, and I am fighting for those who don't have that privilege. And you should.
Every time this country breaks, they say the same thing. We're working on it, be patient. But here we are, weeks into a shutdown. And the only thing working is the suffering. The Senate voted, sure, but now we're waiting on the House, which means that we are technically still shut down. And while they argue on camera, regular people are the ones that are rationing groceries. They're the ones that are skipping doctor visits and figuring out how to survive a system that clearly doesn't give a damn. When the government stops, life doesn't. Federal workers are still showing up unpaid. There are parents that are waiting on SNAP benefits so they can feed their kids. The elderly as well. There's so many people that can't eat right now. There are Americans waiting on checks and watching their rent due dates fly by. And the people responsible are still cashing their checks on time, of course. If I'm not mistaken, this is the longest shutdown in history. Hundreds of thousands of people have gone without pay for over a month. Airports fell apart, families fell behind. And politicians still call it negotiation? Bruh, what? Now, tell me again how this is the greatest country in the world. So, me being me, I want to help in any way possible. So, let's talk healthcare. This time around, I keep hearing about the ACA and people's premiums skyrocketing and things of that nature. And I think I found a resource. I've been watching a bunch of videos, doing some research, and there's another option called Direct Primary Care, or DPC. You pay your doctor directly. Now, just give me a second before you shut me down. There's no insurance, no middlemen, no surprise bills. Now, I just want to tell you a quick story. Just give me a minute, please. There was a woman in Kansas who was paying almost $900 a month for health insurance, and that was before her deductible kicked in. She switched to the DPC practice that only charged her like $80 a month. That included unlimited visits, telehealth, labs, and even medications at cost. By the end of the year, she saved nearly $9,000, and for the first time, she said her doctor actually listened to her. It's probably because the doctor doesn't work for the insurance company. No offense to you, physicians that are out there that do take insurance. I'm just trying to help my community. But let's be frank, this is the kind of care that this country should have offered all of us from the beginning. You can find a DPC physician at this website, dpcfrontier.com. It's a free map built by doctors, but these doctors believe that medicine should serve the people and not the profits. So let's talk about food insecurity, because that's another worry for a lot of Americans. I have 3 resources for you. So listen up. There's feedingamerica.org, which is the National Food Bank locator. There's ampleharvest.org, which connects local growers to food pantries. And then I would feel remiss if I didn't say this one. USA.gov/food help. And that lists the emergency programs that are still running during the shutdown. This shutdown is not the exception, it's the blueprint. Because when people are desperate, they're easier to control. You can't strike when you're starving, right? You can't protest when you're one missed paycheck away from eviction. That's what they want you to believe. What they call democracy feels more like neglect. And the truth is that America was never great. It was just better at hiding how broken it's always been. But if you're finding ways to survive, choosing community over chaos, if you're canceling your insurance and finding an affordable doctor who cares, if you're feeding your neighbors when the system won't, that's greatness. Not theirs, but yours. I really want to get this message out there, so spread the word. Send these resources to people that you think would benefit from them, and let me know what y'all think.
Allow me to be the chaotic voice in this debate when I say this. It's time for a lot of the Democrats in the Senate and the House to go home. It is. And it is for one simple reason. Y'all keep trying to talk to a rabies-infected raccoon, asking it not to bite your children. And then the raccoon eats 2 of your kids, eats them, like just gnaws on them until they're no more. And you're still out here asking that raccoon to not eat or bite your children. The donor money has gotten to your head. The special interest money has gotten to your head because you continue to believe, and you've done this since that fat fuck rolled his big ass down that goddamn escalator. You continue to give any sort of a thought process to motherfuckers that do not think. They don't. They insult you. They talk about your families. Hell, one attacked Paul Pelosi. They call you baby killers. They think you're radical left, even though you motherfuckers obviously are only walking around here with 2 right shoes, because y'all wouldn't know left if we gave it to you. We gave you the fucking directions to left. You still wouldn't know how to do it. It is time for y'all to go home. It is. I'm going to say something out loud that, might be controversial, but it might not be. I am sincerely tired of seeing John Fetterman's big fat ass head betraying everything that he swore up and down he ran for. He's got to go. Get that big lurch-faced motherfucker the fuck out of Congress. He has to go. I'm fucking done with him. I'm done. This idea that you have to be moderate to win elections can literally blow me. Hard and fast, please. People are not mad that the Democrats caved. You know what they're mad about? They're mad because they came and told us that they wouldn't. You know what? Whoever is doing the marketing for the Democratic Party, fucking fire yourself. Fire your goddamn self. You see, my problem with whoever the fuck it is that's doing the marketing for Democrats is this. You talk to consultants and not real people. If you've done so many great things, how come we have to find out after the Republicans destroy them? Why? You cannot negotiate with these people. They made you a promise that there was going to be a vote. There won't be. There won't be. And the agreement that the Senate just passed which stopped the shutdown, is going to go to a house that isn't going to approve it. Not without really stiff-ass motherfucking concessions. Like health care, for example. Bernie Sanders has great ideas, but Bernie Sanders too fucking old to adhere to them. Maybe y'all should start listening to the Latino woman in Congress named AOC. The people you are trying to negotiate with represent racist, sexist, homophobes, xenophobes, anti-Semites, Islamophobes, transphobes, and ableist fucking people who are not as smart as the fucking the shoestrings in your shoes. And yet for some reason you think you can come to the table with these people. You can't. You cannot. And yet every single time you stand on no principles and you get your fucking heads kicked in. Now my wife says, why is everyone mad that they caved? What else could they do? Well, for starters, you could have went back in a time machine and not adopted this, okay, we'll go to the middle, and there is no middle anymore. You could have done that. You really fucking could have done that. You could stop listening to the way Bill Clinton fucking ran campaigns. Stop listening to donors and start listening to people. In fact, I think every person, Republican or Democrat or independent, in Washington, D.C. should be fucking afraid of their constituents and the rest of the goddamn nation. Y'all should be terrified of us. You should be, but you're not. Because this insurance company will come in and give you money for your campaigns. Or this special interest group outside of the United States will slide some money in there. And then they'll tell you, by the way, we're going to change the laws to where you can't say something about this place over here. And y'all capitulate. And then you keep trying to negotiate in good faith with people who don't have any. Understand, the senators and Congress people that you are trying to negotiate with, they have no fucking scruples. Why the fuck do you think they're there? If they had scruples, they would not have been elected. Especially in dumbass, red-ass places like Oklahoma. They keep sending Republican after Republican. They keep electing Republican after Republican. Their fucking state is 48th or 49th or 50th in goddamn near everything. And yet they keep buying the Kool-Aid, buying the Kool-Aid, buying the Kool-Aid because their dumbass jackass of a fucking president gets on the fucking television and won't shut the fuck up. He always signs something and look, poo-poo on potty. What do? Why did y'all have to fucking do this in the middle of the night without even telling the constituents? You traded food for health care. You did. Food for health care. You said food is a necessity, which I agree with. But so is fucking health care. But y'all don't give a fuck because y'all got donor money from the health insurance agency, health insurance companies. Y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all don't give a fuck. And then you market it so bad. Y'all do good things, but you don't fucking talk about it. We got to go find this shit like it's Where's Waldo. And then you have people within the Democratic apparatus in Congress and the Senate who really should shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear from them. John Fetterman is a Republican. He just happens to be lurch. 6 foot fuck you. And dumb as a bag of goddamn broken hammers in a wet paper bag in a fucking hurricane. Chuck Schumer, it's time to step down. You're 74. Right now, you are 10 years younger than my mother was when she passed away, and you're 4 years older than my father was when he passed away. Did y'all not learn from Dianne Feinstein just dying in the goddamn Senate? Mitch McConnell's falling over the fucking place. Nancy Pelosi's retiring. Why do you have to be there, Chuck? Chuck, you don't have the pulse of America. You have the pulse of your donors, but you do not have the pulse of America. And that is my fucking problem with you. This is why I am done with these two political parties. Because the Republicans are never going to be a party ever again. They are MAGA. They have a MAGA cancer that has taken over every orifice on them. Every molecule of bones that they have, all their cells, all the veins, all the capillaries, all the marrow in said bones, their fucking brain cavity, and all the shit around their brain, they are MAGA fucking cancered. And they will not take the chemo that might cure it. Like, I don't know, go back to being the fucking Republicans that you used to be. Small on government, not all in people's business. Donald Trump has a rubber stamp called the fucking Supreme Court. Their motherfucking credibility is in the toilet. And there are you, the good old Democrats, who we know, no matter what the fucking fight is, you'll fold. Because for some reason, just like Donald Trump, and I'm saying it, just like Donald Trump, you want to be liked, but not by your constituents, by the donors. You want to be liked so fucking bad that you will literally give up everything that makes you a fucking Democrat. Do you motherfuckers not remember FDR? Maybe y'all should go look at FDR's second Bill of Rights to get your motherfucking nuts back. Start using your voice. Y'all can come out and get mad when protesters are pro-Palestine protesters on college campuses, but when you do something good, you're quiet. Fuck you. Open your motherfucking mouth and put your balls on. You're supposed to be Democrats. One of you two parties have to fight for the fucking people. The Democrats say they do. The Republicans say they do. The Republicans always concede, always end up sucking off on the business class. What the fuck are you guys doing? I would say get your heads in the game, but I really, at this point, just want you to go home.
The sad part about it is most white people don't even realize how racist they are because it's become so normalized and ingrained in white culture to be racist. They'll talk about how not racist they are, but then they'll lock their doors out of fear whenever they see a black person walk down the sidewalk. They'll talk about how not racist they are, but then they'll tell a black person, you speak really good. You sound white. Just because, a black person happens to sound educated or not use as much AAVE around them. That's the thing about it, is it's so insidious. It is steeped into every corner of our society, and we are all raised in it. And unless you start critically thinking and critically questioning these things, you don't even realize how much racism is alive and well.
And I am sure majority of you will be like, why did you merge these videos together and all that? I said, I know why I merged them all together, because it's from racism that all these people are doing everything they are doing. Some of them do not understand their white privilege and all that. A very big shout out to all these beautiful black women that spoke, because in fact, shout out to everybody. The truth is that with everything going on, I am sure that you and I can actually agree that a lot has actually gone bad. And from where to where? From waiting for the set. Like, really, I've been asking myself, how did we go from how did we go from 1 day to 40 days, right? And still nothing came out right. That is how disgusting it is. And trust me, this is nothing but white privilege, and it's always going to be ignorance at this point. It is ignorance, whether you agree or not. Because it's only an ignorant person that will say that I am for the people, but in the end, they are not for the people. And it is because of your privilege. Because if you are not privileged, you will never do some certain things. Majority of the things that I see these people do, especially the ones in power and all that, it is because that they are privileged. That's why they are doing majority of those things. If they are not privileged, nobody would tell them. Excuse me. Nothing is ever like majority of the thing when black people talk about some certain things going on and all that, they don't see it as a big deal. Or when people of color talk about some certain things, they don't see it as a big deal. Why is it not a big deal? They don't see it as a big deal because they are not going through it, or because the poor white ones are covering up what is going on with them. And then when you try to start up a proper conversation, you see them, they are triggered, because they are always triggered. They are the ones that I have seen that they will see that something is going bad, that they will never have proper, you will never get them have proper, you will never have proper conversation with them with over what it's going on today. I don't know why so, but this is something that I have noticed even like, how many years ago. They are emotionally, uh, they are too emotional when it comes to what is going on or what is happening to other people. I don't know how to say it. I really do hope that our life is, I really do hope that everybody wakes up. Because at this point in time, it is given that I do not want, I just want other people to go through it. And, we just have to secure ourselves. Let's secure ourselves. Let other people find their way. Let them look for a way to cater for themselves and all of that. But while you guys are doing that, you don't know that a lot is damaging. You are damaging also your community. But they don't care about that. They don't mind if other communities are bleeding. They will manage it, even if they are bleeding too. But as long as the other people, it's getting to them, it's okay. They will manage it. That is how bad it is. And people that do or that behave like this are wicked people. Yeah, you must really be a very wicked person from the pit of hell. Sometimes I look at them and I am like, how did we get here? How did we get here in the sense that some people are going to watch you suffer, they will never come to your aid, or they will never do something that will benefit you as a black man or as a brown person. I am not speaking for brown people, but I am using them as, they will never. As long as you are not benefiting from that system, because for them, what is more important is them than any other person. Because tell me how old people, it's because they are privileged. Those old men and old women that voted, they did it because they are privileged. Because if they are not privileged like I am, they will know that they will vote for the right thing. But they are privileged. They are rich too. Like Bishop Thomas said, yeah, it's time to let them go, including Chop Chuma. Nobody should tell me nonsense. Please do not also tell me that they have plans. They do not have any nonsense plan. When you are working and you do not have the people you are working for in mind, you don't have any plan. The only time that I can say that you have plan is when you are working for the people and you have the people you are working for in mind. I can say that you have plan. But aside from that, you don't know what you are doing. I would draw the cut in here. Bye for now.